The Death of Dissent, When Wrongthink Cost You Everything, Social Credit Systems. Welcome back. I'm Adeline, 11 times published author, and this is the Social Credit and Surveillance series. Dissent has always been the litmus test of freedom. The ability to say, I don't agree, to stand outside the majority, to challenge narratives, that is what defines a society where human liberty exists. But as we move further into a world governed not by open debate but by algorithmic consensus, dissent is not just discouraged, it is disqualified. Not legally, digitally, economically, socially. And the result is a new form of punishment: wrongthink. Today's episode exposes how digital systems, social credit infrastructure, and public-private partnerships are working in lockstep to reframe dissent, not as a right, but as a risk. And that risk has consequences. You lose access, you lose visibility, you lose income, and eventually, you lose identity. Because in the eyes of the system, you are no longer a participant. You are a problem to be managed. Let's explore how freedom of thought is being extinguished, not with force, but with filters, and how the cost of dissent in this new system is not jail, but exile. Dissent as dangerous. Throughout history, dissenters have often been punished. But in the past, there was at least the pretense of a trial, of due process, of a line between law and opinion. Today, that line is gone. Wrongthink, ideas that diverge from the mainstream narrative, are punished not with arrest, but with economic shutdown and digital isolation. Say the wrong thing on social media, and you could lose your YouTube channel, your Patreon account, your ability to process payments, or your advertising revenue. Express a contrary opinion in an email newsletter, and you could be deplatformed without warning. Criticize the wrong institution, and you may find yourself shadow banned, demonetized, or unsearchable. This is what happens when dissent is pathologized. The system doesn't argue with you. It doesn't try to refute you. It simply removes you, algorithmically, quietly, efficiently. It filters you out of the conversation, out of the economy, and eventually out of society. You become an invisible person. Speech moderated by algorithm. What makes this even more insidious is that you're not always told you've been removed. In the age of machine moderation, censorship isn't loud, it's silent. Algorithms now decide what speech is toxic, harmful, or misleading. These classifications are based on opaque standards and trained on biased datasets. They don't understand context. They don't care about nuance. They don't need to prove you wrong. They only need to detect a pattern that resembles wrongness. If your content triggers a violation, your reach drops. Your posts vanish from recommendations. Your monetization turns off. Your followers stop seeing you. The system doesn't delete you. It just turns down the volume until you're talking into a void. And the AI never tells you exactly what you did wrong. Why? Because vague rules are easier to weaponize. If you don't know where the line is, you're more likely to self-censor. And once people begin to self-monitor, the system no longer needs to enforce. It has trained you to enforce yourself. Financial systems, now linked to speech. This chilling shift is not confined to social media. Financial platforms are now acting as moral enforcers. Companies like PayPal, GoFundMe, and Stripe have all removed users for policy violations related to content, opinion, or political stance. These aren't banks, they're tech firms, yet they now control access to your money. In some cases, funds have been frozen or redirected. In others, accounts have been permanently closed. And the reasons? Often vague, often ideological. A YouTuber questions pharmaceutical policy? Strike. A journalist challenges the approved geopolitical narrative? Account disabled. An activist raises money for a cause outside the corporate approved list? Campaign removed. This is not hypothetical. It is happening. And it represents the financialization of obedience. If your beliefs diverge, your ability to transact is at risk. And when you can't transact, you can't participate in society. The rise of social risk scoring behind the scenes, platforms and institutions are building reputation databases. These systems track not just what you say, but how others react to it. Were your posts flagged? Were you mass reported? Did you trigger community concerns? Even if you didn't violate any clear rule, the system tracks the signal. You are disruptive. These signals contribute to an invisible score that follows you across the web. It affects your ability to advertise, to publish, to get verified, or to gain access to certain tools. Eventually, it may affect your ability to get loans, rent housing, or access employment. Because dissent is now framed not as dialogue, but as destabilization. And destabilizers are flagged, filtered, and denied. This is where social credit theory becomes reality. You don't need a public score like China's. All you need is a cross-platform profile compiled by machine learning systems that classify you as a risk. And once you're classified, doors close. Quietly, automatically, irreversibly. Toxicity, trust, and emotion. Scanning. One of the most disturbing developments in recent years is the rise of emotion AI. These systems analyze not just what you say, but how you say it. Tone, volume, word choice, rhythm, facial expressions, everything is scanned to determine whether you are being toxic, angry, or untrustworthy. These systems are already being tested in workplace communication tools, online meetings, and customer service chats. They evaluate your sentiment in real time and can trigger moderation, escalation, or HR review based on how you sound. Not what you did, just how your data presents you emotionally. Now imagine this technology integrated into your Zoom calls, your wearable devices, your smart home microphones. The machine doesn't just hear you, it feels for you. And it decides whether your emotions are appropriate, acceptable, or problematic. Welcome to the algorithmic policing of your inner state, the cost of nonconformity. The message is simple. If you don't conform, you will be punished. Not with prison, but with exclusion. You won't be invited. You won't be searchable. You won't be allowed. You won't be funded, hired, promoted, or heard. Not because you broke a law, but because you thought outside the box the system built for you. Wrongthink doesn't require a court. It just requires a few lines of code. And this punishment is distributed. It doesn't come from one place. It comes from all directions at once. Your email platform cancels you. Your payment processor flags you. Your bank closes your account. Your social media locks you out. Your phone carrier disables two-factor verification. Your cloud provider cuts your storage. Your app stops syncing. Your friends start unfollowing. Your name disappears from search, and suddenly, you're still breathing. But you're no longer living inside the system. The illusion of choice. What makes the system so effective is that it maintains the illusion of freedom. No one is forced to comply. You can say what you want if you're willing to accept the consequences. You can think what you want if you're willing to lose access. You can challenge authority if you're willing to lose income, reputation, and belonging. But that's not freedom. That's soft totalitarianism. That's a system where fear governs without needing to declare itself. That's a system where the price of dissent is so high that most people will choose to stay silent, to go along, to shrink themselves into whatever shape the system finds most convenient. And over time, a silent society is indistinguishable from a controlled one. Is dissent dead? No. But it is dying. Not from a bullet, but from abandonment. The systems being built are not designed for open discourse. They are designed for alignment, for compliance, for a seamless social machine where everything flows efficiently and no one raises their voice. But dissent matters. It is the last line of defense between humanity and programming. The last evidence that someone is still thinking, still questioning, still awake. So what do? We speak. While we still can. We support platforms that value freedom over conformity. We build systems that don't punish ideas. We protect the sacred right to be wrong, to explore, to ask questions, to challenge, and to disagree. Because when wrongthink becomes punishable, truth becomes a moving target. And no one stays safe. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.